Hi, everyone. This is Cyndi from the Teachers of God Foundation, and I'm here with one of my all-time favorite people, Lisa Natoli. And I just told her that I wasn't going to read from her bio. What I want to do before I introduce her and introduce the conference is I'm going to get emotional. Um, I wanted I wanted to say, and I do this because I'm hoping that it will press a button in you to say yes. Um, I've been on a spiritual journey for over 20 years, like so many other people, and I thought I was doing pretty well. I had a mailing list at one point of 100,000 people, but it cooled down. And when I met Lisa, I had a mailing list of 20,000 people. People were coming to me for advice. I was teaching, and my life was a mess. And I wrote my list the end of 2017, and I told them I was going to make 2018 the year of the miracle. I said a prayer, and if you listen to Lisa and you know Lisa at all, you know that she had her moment in Brooklyn where she said, "Dear God, I'm yours." But I just wrote it out. It was that casual. I told a list of 20,000 people, I'm going to make 2018 the year of the miracle. I found my Course in Miracles book. I didn't even know that it meant studying A Course in Miracles. Someone wrote me and said, well, if you're going to make it the year of a miracle, then take Lisa Natoli's 40-day program. And I said, yes. And my life has never been the same. Lisa Natoli wrote about her life as a teacher, as a transformational coach and other things, and you can read her bio. But what she teaches in the 40-day transformation, in living in purpose, in the healing cure, in everywhere she shows up in her emails and in B school, and is she tells the world that she sees herself as an activator. And that's what happened for me. And that is what happens. I don't know. I am now blessed as part of how I show up every day to help people move through the 40-day program. And so I've read the testimonials, and I'm starting to cry, and I got goosebumps, but I've read testimonials from people who have not yet even owned a Course in Miracles book. And I've read testimonials and have become friends with people who have been studying the course for 30 years or more and didn't get it. It wasn't activated. It wasn't alive until they started working with Lisa Natoli. Lisa Natoli speaks the truth in the way that activates the truth in others. And all you really have to do is choose to listen and do, and at least be willing to look at the world the way she's inviting you to look at. She is one of the keynote presenters and speakers at this weekend's New Beginning World Conference, May 23rd, 24th, 25th. There's a link to it in this Facebook Live. There are 30 truth teachers, and my head is spinning. My life is never going to be the same just because of all these Facebook Lives. So I want to thank everyone who's listening, because you're listening, because you're here. That gave me the opportunity to do this with Lisa, but also people like Carol Howe and John Mundy and Diedrich Walwick and Corinne Zupko and a whole bunch of others who have moved through this page over the last 2 weeks. Take a look and stop what you're doing. Stop whatever you're doing right now and pay attention as I introduce you to Lisa. Not pay attention with your conscious mind, but also pay attention with that part of you that has been waiting for this moment right now to wake up. So it's all yours, Lisa. I love you.
I love you so much, Cyndi. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I was laughing that you have 20,000 or 100,000 people on your mailing list. My Lisa Natoli mailing list has 5,000 people on it. And, that's different from the Teachers of God Foundation, which is where all the 40-day people are. But, for me, I've always, as a teacher, I've never cared about numbers. I only want to reach one. And And I also do this thing on my mailing list, which makes me laugh. If somebody doesn't open an email in 60 days, I delete them. Because I think if you haven't read a message in 60 days, I guess you're not interested. So I'm constantly cleaning up my email list, and I keep bringing the numbers down just to the people who are doing the work. That's what I want. Like, and I'm so excited for this new beginning conference this weekend. And I'm just so grateful to Bill Free for having the idea, and for all of the 30 teachers that have said yes to join in this weekend. I'm like blown away by just the diversity of teachers that are going to be here. And my topic is staying the changeless self in a changing world. So this morning I wrote a blog that there's only two experiences. And I'll post the blog on my website, lisanatoli.com, for anyone who's not on my mailing list, because there's only 5,000 on my mailing list. So, I'll post it on my website. But you're either being the changeless self or the changing self. That's the range. And we think in the world that we're having all of these different experiences, that we're happy, then sad, then frustrated, then in peace, then we're irritated, then we're feeling worthy, then we're feeling not worthy, then we're feeling whatever, like what attacking ourselves and extending love. I mean, this entire range of seemingly many emotions, many experiences. There's only two. Either you are identified with your changeless self, which is your eternal self, which is that which is connected with everyone and everything. And when you are being the changeless self, you are in joy, you are in peace, and you're not blocking the light. So, as the changeless self, you're plugged into all of this universal intelligence and communication, and you're receiving. I'm getting chills, like full body chills right now. Like the channel's open again. So you're receiving all of this light that was always there, but you didn't know it was there because you were being the changing self. So the changing self is the body identification. So the changing self is the thing that's disconnected from your source. And so changing self is that which is a body, a gender, a color, that which was born into a world that ages and grows old and dies. That's the changing self. And when you're identified with the changing self, your experience is one of confusion. You're totally disconnected from all this communication. So, what happens when we're being and living as the changing self, we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for guidance. And this is why, like right now, I love this as a new beginning conference. And the theme, like all the different presenters have all been given an opportunity to use their 90 minutes to talk about this time we're living in with COVID and coronavirus and this whole world pandemic and shutdown. How can we go forward as a new beginning? So this isn't just a conference where we're getting together and talking about whatever. We're using this time in the world as the springboard for a whole new experience for anyone who wants to join in. So just using this time as the example right now is that many people are looking to the media, they're Googling things, they're looking outside of themselves for their next steps. And what you see a lot right now on social media is a lot of shaming, blaming. It's just like all this attacking, like we're attacking each other. Like the other day, I did a Facebook Live here with Matt Lyon, who's also one of the presenters. And I just found out, I'm all excited, that I'm his host on Monday morning. So Matt Lyon and I were doing this interview, and he's talking about this healing approach he's going to share on Monday morning. And and somebody posted emails to me about the interview that I'm not connected to my feminine side. I need to stop doing A Course in Miracles. I need to do this other spiritual practice. Matt's more feminine than I am. I could learn from Matt. I need to change, right? So I'm reading the message, I'm laughing because I'm connected to myself. So everything just brings me joy. But at the same time, I'm thinking, wow, we post stuff like that. This is what we do. Like that somebody would post to another person, you should be different. You shouldn't be the way you are. You should be more like this. And so some of the practices that I'm going to give on Sunday. So my session is Sunday at 4:30 to 6 p.m. And then I actually threw in also a 4-hour webinar that's going to be on Saturday, June 6th, for anyone who wants to just kind of take the conversation further. It's going to be a masterclass training on Sunday and on June 6th for health, healing, and happiness. So one of the practices for everyone that's very, very simple is before you post anything, before you say anything, before you do anything, stop. In the 40-day program, I call it the pause. But you pause before you post something. And there's so many examples where we think we're doing good. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, people will say, will you pray for me? Like somebody is experiencing pain or sickness, and there's just this automatic response. I see it on Facebook. I'm sending love, praying for you, praying for you. But what if is when you hear a call for help, you stop. You just stop before you do this conditioned response of so sorry for your loss, or I'm praying for you, or I'm this. Like if we start to learn how to take that quiet space, pause, quiet, what do I do in this situation? Like I also see people like, let's take someone who's maybe in a bad health condition, and they look like they're dying, and somebody as like, I don't even know what to pray for. Do I pray that they leave the earth peacefully, or do I pray for healing, or do I pray for... So even before we're even praying, we don't even know what we're praying for. So that's where, like, as a practice, a new practice, and as a new beginning, to take the time before you do anything to just ask within and ask, what should I pray for? Nobody does that. Like, what do I even pray for here? And then listen. So this space, I've been living in this space for a long time now. And it's a space where you have to trust, because you don't know what you will do next or what will happen next, but you trust that you're going to be given your next step. Like I have this thing here. My husband, Bill Free, gave me my most important birthday gift ever on my 50th birthday, which was 2 years ago. And right before my 50th birthday, I'm not going to talk about it here, but I had been receiving inner guidance for quite some time to make a change in my life. And I was so afraid to make the change, I wasn't making that change. I was just like, I don't know what will happen if I do this thing that's coming to me to do. It could be the loss of like all my so-called safety. So I wasn't listening and taking the step because I was trying to maintain my safety, and I kept feeling worse and worse and worse. And on the day before my 50th birthday, I decided to follow the guidance. And Bill gave me this little angel. It's courage. It's a courage angel. And because I talked to him about what I was wanting to do. And the next day he gave me this little courage angel. And to me, this is my most important birthday gift, because it was my brother, my husband, supporting me in the decision. And also it was me starting to trust in this inner voice. So this is just one of the practices I want to give on Sunday, where if everyone just took a minute to be quiet before they blurted stuff out, and people don't even realize your thoughts are affecting everything. So even if you don't post something on Facebook, but you're thinking it, you're thinking they should be wearing a mask. You're we're judging. We're not allowing others to really come into their own guidance. So I just, this is where I'm in a state of constant joy, even though, I mean, my head's not in the sand. I see what's happening. I mean, I see that the world has come to a complete stop. And, my hope is that we don't go back to normal, that this was the greatest gift that ever could have happened to all of humanity, to stop the world. So
So Lisa, I am inspired to take you back and ask for something for just a moment, because I know your story. So hopefully I'll ask the question in the right way. I am working with and have in my life a lot of people who are justifying their fear. If you look out in the world and you watch the news and you have people who are getting sick in your life and are dying, it becomes very, very simple and easy to justify the fear. And I do believe, based on knowing your story, that for many years, you, even as a course student, you lived in the world of exception. Yes, I believe that in the perfect world, we will know peace and joy and happiness, and I can be in this place you described, except I can't because my body hurts, or I don't have money, or my relationships are less than. Would you bless everyone who's listening now with what it took from going from that point of making exceptions to what we're being taught, to what happened when you chose to look at things differently?
yeah, that's a great question, Cyndi. And the thing that's interesting, like what you said, if we see people getting sick and dying, this is just normal. Like here in the world, this is a changing place. So no form lasts ever, never. Like we're not going to be here forever in form. We'll be here eternally forever, but in form, we all have a death date, for example. So we have this idea, like we should determine how that's going to happen and when that's going to happen, and we want it the way we want it. So if we could start changing our perspective on that, like, so the way you just described it and the way I've seen it is that people think this shouldn't be happening. If this shouldn't be happening, and then we start blaming countries, people, presidents, um, and then there's conspiracy theories, and then there's that's what disconnection is. Like when we're disconnected from ourselves, we think the world should be different. If only so and so had done it this way, we wouldn't be in this mess. And now what? And then and so the mind, it's just like on this like crazy fast speed, where if instead you say, okay, like my goal is not to change the world. My goal is to change my mind, to know myself. This morning, I got the best email. Someone just joined the Healing Cure, which is an online program that I created. And she wanted to join yesterday. And And then I asked her, what do you want? What do you want? Like, why, what's your purpose for joining the healing queue? And what do you want healing for? And she said, my reason for joining is that I want to live my authentic life and know what voice is my true voice. And I want to crush fear of failure and fear of not being good enough once and for all. That's what comes to mind. I love that. I was like, oh my God, that's the best. Because see, that is a true goal. A true goal is to know the self, to know the changeless self. And so that's what my topic is to stay as the changelessness in a changing world. So this is just the world we live in. I've lost so many jobs. I've lost relationships that I've loved. I've lost people that I loved. People come and go. They pass from the world. And yet we still think I can change this. Like I can change the numbers. And so you asked, what was it that got me to this point? It was this acceptance and welcoming of everything exactly as it is. Nothing needs to change except the way I see it. And so now I see everything as a gift. Everything is part of this great adventure. And I stay present for it. Like I am here. So for those who are familiar with the Course in Miracles, it's a call for individuals to use their minds for healing and to be a light in this world, to no longer hang out in the darkness. So there's a transformation we go through to reach this changeless self space, stop vacillating. Those two experiences I talked about, there's no range. There's no going from the changing self to the changeless self in steps. It's not possible. You don't do it that way. But people think, okay, I'm just going to start exercising more. I'm going to have a spiritual practice. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to take whatever we do to get to the changeless self doesn't work that way. It happens by a decision where you say, this is ridiculous. Like this over here, I saw I was ridiculous. I saw I was warring against everyone, attacking myself, self-sabotage all the time, totally feeling worthless, completely disconnected from my creativity, totally disconnected from my authentic voice and my authentic self, walking on eggshells all the time. No wonder I was sick, right? And then I made a decision, screw it. I am going to be the changeless self, my playful, joyful, wild, adventurous self. I have this other thing here on my desk. It's just this little curly girl design poster. Have one rule only: be your wild, courageous, brilliant self every single day, no matter what. May you never fail to express all the wild and wondrous things you are. So I think of this. Have one rule only: be your wild, courageous, brilliant self every single day, no matter what. We're not doing that in the world. We're walking around in fear, hoping the world changes so that we can be happy. And at a certain point, one has to come to one's senses and say, okay, I've just spent the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of my life waiting for something to change so I can be happy. I wonder, like, if maybe I can just be happy in the middle of world pandemic, in the middle of somebody's last moments on earth, in the middle of whatever. Can you be the light, the changeless self in the middle of everything? Definitely.
Getting emotional. I'm
I
sitting
love
and
you. So I'm sitting here going, I love you so much. And what I wanted to just say, as I was just watching you, I was feeling you, Cyndi. And one of the things, that's coming now to light in the world is the whole biology thing, is that our presence is one with everyone. So not our words literally don't matter. What matters is that I'm aware that you and I are connected as one, and that my love for you, my appreciation for you is changing you, and you are changing me. So we are in this cosmic dance together. So if you, I get chills up and down again. So when we know this, that that our presence and our light is interacting with everything in the past, in the future, those not yet born, those past, those from thousands of years ago, from we are one. And that how we hold ourselves, and it's not even, that's not even the correct way to say it, but that how we are being is affecting everything and everyone. So you wouldn't post stuff like that on what that guy said to me. Like he, but at the same time, because I'm connected, it didn't affect me. Now in the past, I would have thought like, oh, I better do that thing he's suggesting, and I need to be more feminine. Like I need to change because oh my God, oh dear, am I being perceived that way? Like am I too masculine? Am I too that's the whole problem with the world. We were taught that as children, you're too much. You're not good enough, you're too much. You need to be more like this. You need to be a good girl. You need to be more quiet. You need to be whatever. And so more and more over time, we disconnect from all that brilliance, all that creativity, all that magnificence. And so this New Beginning conference and this New Beginning here in World Pandemic is just an amazing, incredible opportunity for people to say, this is it. Like I healed all my money issues, literally. Many people who know me know my story. I healed like all everything, addiction. Um, that's not the point. Like the worldly stuff. The point is that in a decision, you say enough of that, enough being powerless, enough being a victim. I'm not weak and frail. I'm not, I got this. Like I got this. And I literally could see that I had been a victim for 20 years around, well, let's just use money. I have no money. I have no money. I have no money. I wish somebody would help me. I have no money. I have no money. If only somebody could help me, I could put up a website. If only, if only Oprah would call and give me a platform, I'd be able to do something. And I said, enough of that story. That is, I'm done. And then I created the 40-day program when I had no money. I just decided I'm done with that changing self. That is not serving me. It's not fun. I'm done. And and then you step into this place, and what does it require? Courage. Courage, courage, courage to start stepping forward into this unknown arena where you're starting to find your true voice. I love this message from this woman so much because that's what we all want, right? To live my authentic life, know that my voice is my true voice, to crush fear of failure and fear of not being good enough once and for all. So that's
That's it. And can I just, because I want to say it in my voice right now,
yep.
especially with what I've been through in talking to so many of these teachers that are going to be there. Anyone who's listening to us right now, I want to say very clearly, I don't care what your story is. I don't care what your ego is telling you. If you watch these Facebook Lives and you come and be with these teachers, and I'm getting teary, Lisa, you know, dealt with debilitating, perhaps life-threatening illness and zero money. Watch her joy now. John Mundy was literally told that he was dying of cancer 15, 20 years ago, and he took it to his course teachings. Diedrich Wolzak spent 50 years as an angry alcoholic before he stepped into looking for and saying yes to a different way. Corinne, literally debilitating, I'm going to die every day, panic disorders out the gazoo, before her mother handed her her first copy of A Course in Miracles, and she made the decision to be willing to live what it taught. So it doesn't matter what you think your story is. If you choose to come to the conference, if you are willing to listen to the truth and allow it to change you, then there's no limit.
Yeah, I'm so happy, Cyndi, that you brought up all those stories, because I had forgotten all their stories until just now when you brought them up. And then now I'm thinking of all the other presenters there, and we all have the same story. We all, like I was told, I have an incurable chronic condition. I tried everything on the worldly level to heal it. I tried healing the mind to heal the body. And then finally, it was like I got quiet. And this is one of the things I'm going to do on Sunday, but I'll share some of it now. Every single one of us knows what actually needs to be healed. The body doesn't need to be healed. The body condition is just, in my mind, just a signal that there's a disconnection. That's all that is. Like somewhere there's a disconnection. You're not guilty for it. Guilt is not helpful. Trying to say you caused it is not helpful. But what I know to be true from the thousands of people I've worked with over the years and my own experience is that every single person listening to this video, every single person I've ever come across, in the quiet, when they get quiet and you ask, what needs to be healed? And you listen, you're told. And for me, it was unworthiness. It was feeling like I'm a fraud. It was doubt. That was a big one. I had major doubts. And that was what needed healing. And the healing came as I made a decision to connect with this light. There's a line in A Course in Miracles in the workbook lessons: miracles are not seen in the dark, they're seen in the light. So while we're standing in the dark with our problems, difficulties, sickness, shame, blame, guilt, irritation, anger, attack thoughts, judgments, we don't see the light. And it says the light is here, but it's useless to you, even though it's here. So healing is an ability where we start to acknowledge this light and we start to use it. We stop blocking it. So while we're standing in the dark trying to figure out how to heal our problems, you can't access the light, even though it's here. So it requires a shift in perception. And the shift, the only way I know is in the quiet. That's all I know. Is you can't find it from Googling and from doing another thing. You have to find it in the quiet. And all of those presenters you just talked about, Cyndi, I know all their stories. It's the same. They all in the quiet heard what needed healing. And that's where the joy comes from. It's like, oh, I'm already whole. Oh, you're not trying to fix anything anymore. You're not trying to change anything. Diederik didn't try to change anything. Corinne, John Mundy, they all, through the grace of God, had a healing. And it wasn't what anybody had thought it was going to be.
I'm laughing because I've told everyone 15 to 20 minutes. We've been
Yeah,
talking
right.
for a half hour. So I want everybody, please, the link in this post will lead you to the conference. Don't let money stop you. There are scholarships available. Don't let time stop you. There are replays available. If you're feeling even that little bit of pull, learn more. Yes. Any final words, Lisa, before I press this button?
I'm just so grateful. I mean, thank you so much, Cyndi, and thank you everyone for listening. And it is going to be a party. It is. For the final thing I would say, in my experience, is that it's that shift in your yes. Like of all the people who've come into the 40-day program, this isn't about learning something at the conference. It's your yes in this moment. You say yes. Yes, I want a life of aliveness. I want to connect with my true self. I'd like to experience what I'm hearing right now for myself. I don't want to. Bill, my husband, used to say when I first met him, he had this tradition from the church he was serving in for 25 years about get in the game. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. And I've always liked that. It's like we sit on the sidelines waiting for life to start. It's like, no, get in the game. You choose. Nobody's gonna tell you to come on in. We're telling you now, come on in. And now the decision has to be on you to say, I'm in, I'm going, I'll be there. And it really is going to be a party. I love that there's recordings, so you can have a totally relaxing weekend and not try to like get everything in, and have a new beginning. This is it. So thank you so much. I love you.